Okay, everyone, welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus and the WASDE report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss for educational purposes, it is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. Let me just check our stream. Give me 1 second, folks. All right, so this is our YouTube stream of one of our YouTube streams of the week. Okay, let's see how it goes. All right, let's talk about WASDE for a minute. So first off, I'll be trading soybeans. The contract is ZS 724. And I also have a chart open for corn. Okay. Now, what I'm really thinking of doing, because corn has not been moving at all on WASDE for a long time, month after month after month. It just hasn't been moving. It did move on the quarterly grain report last quarter, but that's about it. It has not been moving on WASDE. And in fact, WASDE last month was a dead report. It was really quiet. Let's take a look. It was very surprising. And look, we've been trading WASDE for almost as many years as I've been here. It's one of the trades that I really like. It's definitely one of the trades I look forward to trading. And every now and then it goes through periods of quietness or not a lot of movement. It's just, it happens. And let's take a look at what happened last month. My memory is that it was really quiet. In fact, maybe no fill, if I really remember totally. I will not be making any big change to the way I would normally trade WASDE because it was kind of quiet last month. And let's make sure it was not the month before. So last month was kind of quiet, but it was okay. No, it was not last month that I'm thinking of. Last month was not huge, but it was fine. It was tradable. Now the corn chart is spread pretty far, so it makes that corn move look a lot bigger. Okay. The regular WASD move, it was not big. It was not big. Let's look at March. I think WASD is due for a really nice move. So I'm not going to do anything unusual or do anything special other than look for a nice winning trade. That's what my expectation is. This was March. Now I will trade in two separate accounts, and I'll trade soybeans in both accounts. But in one account, I'm going to look for a reversal. I don't know if I'll have the ability to do it, but this is a report. Okay, it was March. That was very quiet. That's what I was thinking of. So we actually had no fill in March. Again, the corn charts a little bit spread apart. That's only a 10 ticks of movement. It's 2 points. It's 8 ticks. It's not a lot of movement. Okay. Let me put my webcam on because we are streaming. So give me 1 second. So what I'm saying is I'm just going to go for a normal trade on WASDE today. Nothing huge, nothing out of the ordinary, just the normal, expecting a nice WASDE winner. That's what I'm expecting. Are we going to get it? Yes. We're going to get it. Okay, so what's the plan? What's the plan? What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency, Kenneth? That's what we really need to know. So the plan is we've got a DMM. And the plan is to trade a breakout. And I'm going to put my orders on the chart at 11, 59, 58. And the bracket is good between 12 and 15. Okay. Bracket is good between 12 and 15. And your targets are good anywhere between 8 and 30. 8 and 30. You can go 8 and 50 if you understand you will absolutely, most probably have to manage your way out of the trade because it just hasn't been flying with those 90 tick moves at the moment. Okay. I'm going to use a stop of 20. So that's my setup. And I will absolutely use a target one stop move on my regular breakout. This will be my cash account. And what I'm thinking about, call this the breakout. Soybeans. There's definitely, I'm definitely buying a new computer. WASDE, today's date. Okay. And then we're going to check our bracket width. Okay, here's our brackets. And we have a very manageable bracket, etc. I never love when orders are showing up right at the high, right at the low. But if the report has a good breakout type of a move, it will ignore all that. And WASDE has had many, many, many good events. So just a regular old breakout in my cash account for the WASDE. That's setup number one. Okay. The grains are not very bullish or bearish. That's good. And then corn, I'm not setting up a corn trade. Um, Corn has a history over the past 6 to 9 months of not being traded, not moving very much. That if you want to possibly set up a secondary trade and look at the DMM, I don't make this stuff up. Okay. Soy is a bean. It's a grain. Considered a grain, but it's a bean. It's a bean. We're trading soybeans, but it is a grain. It's part of the grain futures. And it's different from the NOPA, which is the soybean oil. We trade NOPA next week, and it's the crushed soy. I guess it's the soybean oil crushed, the soybean crushed into oil. That's what the NOPA report is. But we don't care, Roz. You know, I love David. What are they called? Endamani. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Is that a soybean? Endamami. Yeah, endamami. Absolutely one of my favorite things to eat, especially microwaved with a tiny bit of salt. Oh, they're so delicious. The point I'm showing everybody here, corn, no moves. Okay. There's no point in setting up a secondary trade for corn where with soybeans, we're getting relatively normal moves out of WASDE. We have a little bit of a concern over the past 2 months, smallish behavior, but reasonably normal last month, a little bit on the small side. So all I'm going to do is set up soybeans, ZS0724, in my Top Step account, a reversal trade. And I will seriously consider taking the opposite direction of what happens on the trade. If it's a burst up, then I'll look for a short. If it's a burst down, then I'll look for a long, probably pretty quickly. And I'm changing the stop to a 20, Giles, and I'm saying that the bracket is 12 to 15. I think just based on the size of the moves lately, I'm going to go with a 12 bracket. Okay. I rarely change brackets and stops. And very honestly, had I not been not at the top of my game this week, I would normally do that to the DMM. I'd modified the DMM so that it shows the exact bracket. But sometimes the bracket and sometimes the stop is not etched in stone. And that's important to understand. It's not always in stone. So I am going to set up a reversal, and it's $12.50 a tick. Okay. Just like the mini S&P, WASDE is, the soys, as are the corns, 12.50 a tick. And I'm going to look for like a 25 tick target, and I'm going to go for a 20 tick stop. Now this is, if there's a burst, I think there's a good opportunity for a change in direction. But we do notice, let's watch a couple of more videos. We have 15 minutes. So the reversal, one position, 25 tick target, 20 tick stop. Remember, for a reversal trade, you don't need anything except a position, a target, and a stop. Position, a target, and a stop. That's all you need. Okay, so let's look at WASDE in February. Did we look at February? No, we looked at 2. Okay, here's the February move. Now, WASDE, I will not cancel it. Had a very nice move in February. Okay. Notice the reversal. Let's see if it pulls up. Usually it does. With reversals on reports like this, of course, the danger always is that if you get a continuation, that just goes in one direction. But the history of this report is very good for reversing. That is the truth. It is a good history of this report. You can see it. There were a fair amount of opportunities there to get out with some money after the breakout. Let's take a look at January was a small winner. January, it traded with the quarterly grain report, and it was not a very big one. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes that quarterly grain, my memory of WASDE with the quarterly grain report has not been monster trades size wise. The most recent quarterly grain report was a huge move last quarter. That was after the January. January is the first quarter, and then there was the March quarter. And then we have another one coming up, not too far away, another month or so. It was a nice move, nevertheless. WASDE is one of those reports where it could be tricky because you want to try and grab a reversal, but sometimes being patient can help you get more profit, so it's all trades can be tricky in that manner where you try to balance patience with taking a secondary trade. Okay, it can be tricky. That's why I like doing it. It's a great feature of having a prop account. If you've got the money, you can afford to do it. If you can afford to do it, then it gives you a lot of flexibility in your trading. I don't have to worry about the soybean trade being over in my main cash account to trade it in my Top Step account. It's 2 different accounts. So I can take that reversal. If I'm able to pay attention to it properly, I can take it at the right time. I don't have to worry. All right, now let's look at one more or a couple more. Let's look at what I think was a really nice WASDE. So again, I'm not going to cancel. WASDE is it's not a private report, but it's a report that doesn't show up on calendars. So we don't know that the news is released unless we get filled or there's no fill after an extended period of time. WASDE is one of those reports I do not cancel unless we are 100% certain that the report has come out. Okay? I do not cancel it. Again, notice it was a good reversal. Now, corn back in May, I'm still looking at the size of the move there. Corn in May, that's a long time ago in May. It was moving a year ago, May, okay? That was a year ago. It's nobody's fault that corn's not moving right now. What I'm going to do is I'd like to watch corn though. I would like to watch corn. So I don't care that much about my face. ZC 0724. Okay. And there's no law that says you can't have a trade set up for corn in your prop account also, right? If corn decides to have a great move, I'd like to have an opportunity there to maybe take the trade. 20 tick target, 20 tick stop. I don't think corn's going to move much, but this way, if it does, if I have my wits about me, which is not so easy, and I don't mean it as a joke, sometimes it's just not. Sometimes it's just tricky. So there's corn, and we'll do that in Top Step also. All right, so you've got I'll show you the crosshair. So that's 4 ticks. That candle is 4 ticks. So spread it a little bit bigger, but you don't want to spread it crazy so that you don't have a bloated view of how much the move actually was, okay? So we've got a possible soy reversal. It's possible. Main trade, just going to relax, take the breakout, try to let it do its thing. Be nice to see it hit both our targets, and then we'll look and see if there's a reversal possibility or a continuation possibility. And maybe there will be, maybe there won't. It's at least you give yourself the opportunity. COVID and coffee, it's a great combo. Any questions? Everybody good? Everybody good? Any questions? I don't see any. So I'm looking for a normal WASD type move. That's what I'm looking for, a normal WASD type move. So we're just watching the markets. I'm sorry I've been so boring this week. There's plenty to rant about, that's for sure. If you just read the news, it's enough to make you totally insane. But I'll keep my rants to a minimum this week. No point in ranting anyway. It doesn't really get us anywhere. So WASDE is at 12 o'clock, and most of the time we'll know the report's out because we'll get filled. I remember years ago when I first got here, we did have a cancellation rule, and we did used to cancel it. You know, if you didn't get filled 10 seconds, 15 seconds, we used to have a very strict 10-second cancellation rule. And we stuck to it on many trades for a long time. And it really took many years of being of trading for me to really convince my boss that the 10-second rule should be much more flexible than we were doing it. And then the pandemic really changed a lot of that. News changed a lot the way it released once the pandemic started. And then now we know that I generally don't like to cancel most trades. I mean, sometimes, obviously, there's times we shouldn't trade. I mean, I'm a little bit aggravated about gold this morning, $30 up. You know, you think that can't be a long trade after that. I mean, it was a long trade after all that. And what would have been a reason to cancel? Sometimes when there's so much movement in an instrument before a report, it just doesn't respond the normal way, quote unquote normal. All right, we've got a minute. 1 minute. All right, just watching, patiently waiting. The brackets will show up a couple of seconds before we expect the news to be released. Okay, orders are going to show up in a couple of seconds. I don't like that. Man alive, cannot buy a break today. Cannot buy a decent move. Darn it. Now, that was such a weird whip. I mean, I don't know that that is definitely a long, but I think it's failing on the short side. Going to take a shot. Move my stop to safety. Let's see if we can't get Not very much, if anything. Just a whip move where probably we may not even see a direction now. We just may not get a direction. Just a whip move, not much move out of corn, not much move out of corn. You know, had a quick potential for profit there. It was too quick, too quick. And now it's going the other way. I don't know that you could really know what this proper direction on this trade is at the moment with that kind of move. Very, very, very frustrating week and day. Just not a good move. Not a good move. Now look, one of the things that we're always dealing with, we had no losers in the past 6 months. We had one cancel and 6 winners. It's just, I hate to trade. I hate not to, I'm not going to not trade because we've had too many winners. It's crazy. But at some point, you have to have a stop. It's just totally frustrating. Totally frustrating. There was nothing we could do about that. We didn't do anything wrong. It just did not give us a tradable move. Just not a tradable move. Whipsaw is our enemy. It's just that simple. And I really, you know, I tried to grab a little bit. I wanted to give it time, and it didn't give me enough time or space. I didn't give it enough time or space. So I don't like finishing a week with a losing trade, but it's unfortunate. This is our last event. And it is a tight range. Grains, they're still in a super tight range from where that news was released. Finally, it's making a new something. Now it's deciding to make a low. All right, let's look at the video. Let's take a look at the video. And next week is a new week. Move on to some good trades next week and make it back. All right, let's see what happened here. Now it's finding a direction. Now it's definitely finding a direction. Do I want to chase it? I don't think so. It's a big chase. It's a big chase. No. Let's look at the video before I do something foolish.